Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord. It's midweek motivation time. We're excited to be here on this snowy and icy Wednesday, but it is clearing up. So we're excited to be here. If you are watching, wherever you're watching, would you please log in, tune in, tell us name, where you're from, say hello, whatever. We want to make sure you are in the house for this episode of Midweek Motivation. We're beyond grateful to God for letting us see another week. We're grateful to God for letting us have another opportunity to be in his presence and just to engage. Listen, every fourth Wednesday of the month, I am doing in 2026 a thing called Wellness Wednesdays. And really, it's an opportunity for us to check in with our members. A lot is happening in the world. A lot is taking place in the country. A lot is taking place in this city. And we want to make sure that people are okay. We don't just care about your souls. We care about your mind and your body, your emotions, the whole total parts of you, right? So if you are watching, log in. Let's do a check-in. I brought in somebody who is our in-house therapist, whom I love and trust beyond anything. I truly entrust her with not only my well-being and the well-being of my family, but the well-being of those members in our church. And so, I mean, she has been a gift from God, and I can't speak enough about her. And so as people log in, we want to make sure that you are logged in and you're here. Hey, Zenobia, how are you? So we're going to go ahead and bring her in. Sister Coletta McPherson, we're elated to have you on tonight.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Coletta, we once again, I can't thank you enough. We talked earlier today. I can't thank you enough for doing this for just for a moment. First of all, I want to thank you for what you said about the fast and how the fast helped you. Go ahead and talk about that for a minute because folks need to know that.
Right. And so what I decided to do this year was to, first of all, commit to being focused and not to do that. In the past, I'd done it just because Pastor said we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is this is an opportunity for me to make a change in my life. Yeah. And so, as I told Pastor earlier, it was really, for me, it was a healing.
Yeah.
And when I started that fast, I looked at myself, and you know what I do know is character. Your character is about what you do when nobody's watching.
Yeah, yeah.
And nobody's watching. Nobody was watching me for 21 days. Yeah. I had to make a commitment to myself to do something.
Yeah.
And I had to keep that commitment to myself.
Yeah.
It was self-accountability. Yeah. And so I took away, at the end of the 21 days, I took away, you know, am I the person that I said I am? And I was able to say yes. Did I do what I said I was going to do and never share with anybody what I was doing?
Yeah.
Because that's a part of my character.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so with that, it was just like, I probably experienced some of the best sleep I've experienced in a long time.
Wow.
But there were some changes that I made in the way I was thinking.
Yeah.
The way I spent my downtime.
Yeah.
I actually journaled what I did with my time.
Wow.
And I looked at the time that I had wasted.
Yeah.
And decided to do something different with that time for those 21 days.
That's good. That's good, Coletta. I am challenged every year in terms of the direction that I want to take the fast. And to hear you say that just reassures me. I believe the beginning of a year, if the year is an opportunity to reset your mind, your body, your spirit. It's a way to start fresh. Mm-hmm. And really, as I've tried to preach in the theme for the month of January, to ground yourself, to plant yourself, to establish yourself, so that wherever the year takes you, you are not going off center. You're remaining focused on what it is. I told the players last night that when I do chapel for the Thunder, I told them last night that success isn't what you've gained as much as it is success is what you're rooted in.
Yeah.
That if you're planted in God and rooted in God, so the fast allows us an opportunity to ground ourselves and establish ourselves more in Him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Pastor. And I think, that I'd like to hear you say again and again and again. I
Yeah.
mean, to people in the community and to the congregation, because that really is what it's all about,
Yeah.
and just a few words of encouragement like that really makes a difference.
Yeah.
And, I think doing the fast is a time to be able to have some conversations with yourself.
Yes.
You
Yes. So one of my reasons to bring you on, Colette, and I'm gonna do this every fourth Wednesday of the month. I thought about doing it every quarter, but I said, no, let me do it. And really this is the center of this. This will be the gist of our conversation for just a few minutes tonight. So much is happening in the world. I mean, so much is happening. I can't stress that enough. Between what's happening in Minneapolis.
Right.
Today I got word, about the ICE facility they try to put on the south side. They had a city council meeting this morning.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, I could call the roll. And often what happens is when these things are taking place, we find ourselves getting entangled with these things emotionally, psychologically. Right. And because we get tied into these things so bad, it throws us off. We don't know, which is one of the reasons why I started this series, I Am Rooted, because I sensed, Sister Kelly, that many people will find themselves entangled in what's happening and out of control in their emotions.
Right.
Right?
Right.
They don't know how to center yourself, how to ground yourself. I used that word several times already.
Right.
Because so I said, let me do a Wellness Wednesdays. I could bring in a therapist just to talk to the people about what do you need to do if you find yourself caught up in all that's happening in the world. Right. Right. I said, let me bring Coletta on and talk to the people. Right. Out there. Because I know so just to give you a peek, I intentionally don't watch, like before I watched CNN all the time. I watched MSNBC all the time. I think I stopped watching MSNBC after the election. Right. I'm talking about last year's election. Right. November 2024. Yes. I watch MSNBC every morning. I have not watched an episode of MSNBC since 2024. Right. Right. Yeah. I literally, now that was hard for me. Right. I haven't watched an episode of CNN. I can't do it. Right. You hear all of this noise. Right. And it can be consuming. Yes. So yes. And I think noise is a good word for it, Pastor. And you got noise coming in every direction you can think of. Yes. And my thing is, I told somebody, and I think I said this to you, Pastor, people thought the worst thing that could happen was the pandemic. Right. No. I think it was the aftermath of the pandemic, which is what we continue to live in. Yeah. Right now. Yeah. And how do you stay focused? I haven't watched news in over 15 years, but I can tell you everything that's going on, because you don't have to. If you got one of these, yeah, you don't need a TV. If you are surrounded by people, you don't need a TV. Yeah, because everybody is going through something, and everybody carries the weight. Right now, it seems like everybody's carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Yeah. But the Bible tells us the battle's not ours. Yeah. But we've taken on the battle. Again, the night of the election, I had cousins calling me from Texas at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, want to know if I'm up. I said, up for what? They was just like, well, Trump's going to win. I said, and, my thing is, this is a test of our faith. It really is, and our spirituality. Because at some point, when do we really stop talking about letting go and let God, and truly let go and let God? Because if you don't, mentally, we're just going to see the numbers
rise and increase for people who are struggling with anxiety
Yeah.
and depression. We're living in a world where the millenniums and the Gen Zs, that's how they're living. They're
Yes.
living on that.
Yes.
Everything about them has to be right now in the
Right.
moment,
Right.
and it has to be for them. It can't be about the community. It can't be about we as a group are coming together. It's about I gotta have it. I gotta have it right now.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my sisters earlier today, and I said I've never heard so many stories of young people having cancer as I've heard in the last 2 years. When I say
Mm.
young people, I mean people under 40, breast cancer, cervical cancer, you know, stomach cancer. Where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
You know, and it's the stress of the world.
Yeah.
Everybody's carrying it. Everybody's
Yeah.
carrying the stress of the world. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who sits in the White House. What matters is who created the White House. But we're worried about who's sitting in the White House.
And I will say to you, Colette, I hear you, but I will say to you that statement has to be qualified.
You're right.
You got to qualify that statement.
You're
And
right.
I am careful, even when I prepare for sermons on Sunday, when I put that line in the sermon. If I type that line out,
Mm-hmm.
I got to qualify it. I started consciously saying to myself,
You're right.
I cannot say it doesn't matter who's in the White House.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot say that
Yeah.
because people who have lost their subsidies,
Mm-hmm.
it matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People whose health insurance have doubled, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to qualify it with, yeah, God is on the throne.
Right.
But self-care is necessary because help is not coming.
Right. Right.
Right? I gotta say that because you and I can say that because we know what that means. But
Right.
there are people who are severely affected by these systems, institutions that have literally broken them down.
Right.
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 So I'm careful when I make the statement, it doesn't matter who's in the White House,
Mm-hmm.
because it does matter.
Right. Right.
It does matter. But
it is life-changing. Yeah.
It shouldn't matter to the degree that it messes with or tampers your mindset
Mm-hmm.
or your emotional state.
Right. 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 And I think that's where we have to set some boundaries for ourselves emotionally. Okay. So, I would agree with you that a lot of people are truly impacted about who sits in the White House. But how much control do we have over that?
That's right.
So how do we take care of ourselves?
That's right.
In the midst of all of that.
That's right.
While we wait, trust, and be patient.
There you go. There we go.
Okay. And that's all we got. We gotta trust, we gotta be patient, we gotta stay focused, and we gotta have some boundaries. And that's how you get through a storm. You don't get through a storm by sitting and looking out the window.
Yeah.
And waiting on it to come.
Yeah.
We have to take control of ourselves. And the part of what you've been teaching or preaching about is us being rooted. What does that really look like? We just repeating the words that you're saying every Sunday, we're rooted. Or what does that mean? Because if there was ever a time we needed to be rooted, it's now.
It's now.
But we can't be rooted if we've got all of this stuff going on around us and we're caught up in all the chaos of the world. And then, God forbid if you got some chaos on your job and then you got some chaos at the house.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And it becomes overwhelming. And so when we say rooted, we gotta that has to be said with your chest stuck out. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta mean it. You gotta mean it. And if you're rooted, then you gotta have some boundaries. And I'm talking about even when it comes to families. I think in the midst of situations like this, people lose touch with who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's too easy because you get caught up in everything else that's going on around you. People start making impulsive decisions like to retire just because, they're afraid of getting fired. So I'll go ahead and retire, or I'll quit now, just trying to find answers.
Let me interject. I think that, Sister Coletta, that our generation, you, me, that as a result of social media, we are being induced with trauma.
I agree.
when they showed that video of that man being killed in Minneapolis, and they showed it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I consciously said to myself, this is social media is inducing trauma.
Right.
Literally.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But how many people spend, the estimated number of hours that people spend on social media is somewhere between 5 and 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so what do you think that's doing?
Yeah.
You overall, mentally, physically. And that's what people do. And like you say, you watch that over and over again. It's kind of like with the George Floyd thing. People watch that so much they could walk you through it step by step. Even before I ever saw it, somebody walked me through it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And people, that's traumatizing. You keep looking at the same thing and over and over
we are raising a generation of, honestly, young people that have been traumatized all of their life.
Right.
From George Floyd, to this white lady that was killed last week, Renee Good, to the white man who was killed just last Saturday. It is so my hope is to help people and to bring you on to help us navigate the space of that trauma.
Right. But let's not create an emotional war for our own selves in the process. It's like, how do we protect ourselves? Because everything you said is true. So how do we get through this? And my thing is, that's what we can talk about, or we can use the word self-care, but until we learn how to do that, then we're not going to get any better.
Help us learn how to do that. Get it to me.
Well, I think, some of the things that we have to do as a community and as a church in the community is we've got to make sure that people are being educated and made aware that there are groups or focus groups, or there's opportunities for them to be able to come to the church and have, open group discussions, to be able to process anything that they're going through in life. It's kind of like Pastor, you and I talked earlier. People want to think about grief and they always relate it to death. Well, guess what? I got folks retiring.
Yeah.
That's grieving. You didn't work 60 years of your life.
Yeah.
I got people that I work with going through divorce.
Yeah.
That's grief. And, the hard thing about divorce and grief is they ain't dead. You still got to see them.
Yeah.
And so how do you live with that? And so I think we miss so much because everybody is in such a rush and we're not going anywhere. And none of us are going anywhere. And so, but self-care is going to be about us learning how to be a community pastor.
Yeah.
It means we take care of each other.
Wow.
We've lost so much of that.
Yeah.
That's what made a difference,
Yeah. COVID sped that up. Great deal.
Yeah.
COVID sped that up.
Right. And so we have to understand that grief covers a whole country.
Right.
I mean, there's so much that we need to be. Sometimes people just need to be able to talk to some other people. Yeah. It's easy for you to tell me you understand what I'm going through, but it sure would be nice to have somebody sit in the room with me in a group session and they're able to tell me what it was like when they went through that same thing.
Yeah.
And so I think the way we do that is that we help each other. We make a safe space for people to be able to talk about whatever it is that they're going through without judgment, with maintaining people's confidentiality.
Yeah.
And I told you my famous words earlier today is when I do speaking engagements, first thing I ask people in the audience, how many of you guys are on social media platforms of any type? Everybody raise their hand. I don't care if they're baby boomers or Gen Zs.
Right.
And they're usually African-American, but African-American people tend not to get the help that they need with therapists because they don't want people in their business.
That's
right. But guess what? If you on social media, you got your own business out there. So don't worry about the therapist putting your business out there.
Right.
Okay. So there's some things that we can do different. I'm not saying that social media is the worst thing that has happened, but it's all in how you use it.
My friend says, you want people out of your business, yet you post when you get up what you have for breakfast, but then you tell people mind your business.
Right. Right. And I think those are the things that we have to be aware of. And that's when the boundaries come in, Pastor. Nobody has boundaries. It's like,
Right.
where somebody went on vacation even before they get there, because they letting you know step by step what time the plane's leaving and all of that.
So somebody asked a good question. Jim, hey, Jim, would you say COVID is part of the reason society is where it's at right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I would. And but at the same time, I think there were some positive things that came as a result of
Yes.
COVID.
Yes.
And so I think that you have to look at that. But I mean, I don't know how many people really understood even what they were going through when COVID happened.
No.
And I think some people, Pastor, are still processing that now. I could probably give you a name of 25 people who didn't have any anxiety before COVID. And now they're being treated for anxiety.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you have it and you had not addressed it?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? And so I think, that, so there was some lights that came on during COVID that I think some things needed to happen.
Yeah.
But I do think this is what I consider to be the aftermath of the storm. It's kind of like a tornado comes through a small town, which most of them is in Oklahoma, state of Oklahoma, is small, right, and tears the whole town down. When you drive through there, there's nothing left but the foundation.
Yeah.
What is it going to look like when you rebuild it? Because that's what we're having to do. We're having to rebuild our communities. And I say our communities. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to. Yeah.
People are suffering in many cases, as you stated earlier, from anxiety, from worry.
Right.
They're anxious. They are overly concerned.
Right.
All of that, to me, feeds into the physiological maladies that people experience. High blood pressure, hypertension,
right,
depression,
right.
All of that comes about, right?
Right.
Manifests itself not just in your mind, but it also does it in your body. It's a physiological thing that takes place. All of you is affected by.
Right.
I am concerned because I think a lot of what's happening in the news is adversely affecting people bad.
And I would agree.
Yeah.
I think we can go back to, I'll use the situation with George Floyd, but we know there were some situations that were happening that led up to that.
Yes.
And believe it or not, I say that all of that has triggered
us
as a group of people.
Yes.
So our blood pressure is up because we're operating for the most part on flight or fight.
That's right. Yes.
And that contributes, I promise you, to high blood pressure. If that's how you're having to live your life, is today when I get up, I'm gonna have to fight just to be able to have insurance. What is today going? I mean, people go to bed with anxiety and they wake up wondering, what did he do overnight?
Right.
What did this man change?
I mean, it's real. It's
real. Are we going to be at war when I get up in the morning?
Yeah.
I mean, and so people are living with anxiety and managing it in the worst ways possible, because first of all, we don't even recognize, the extent of the anxiety. I had a friend, well, not a friend, I had a gentleman tell me that I asked him when was the last time he had a drink, and he said 5 minutes before I got here today.
Right.
And he got here at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And he said, I just had one bottle. I said, one bottle. No. He said, no, a bottle of whiskey, and my thing is, okay. So my thing is, and people are trying to survive. So by any means necessary, that's where we are.
Yeah. Because it is hard.
It is
to navigate these spaces.
Right.
For people when all of what you're seeing is, for lack of a better usage of terms, is death and destruction. I remember people saying that term and it being like, okay, you mean figuratively, not literally.
Right. No.
But now it's literal. You are literally watching death and destruction.
Yes.
Every day. Lives of people.
Every day. Every day you can watch it.
Right.
And my thing is, what do you think that does to your mind and your body if that's what you're watching every day? That's
so
going to be
unplug social media. You said unplug social media.
Right.
What else?
My thing is, I mean, whether we want to or not, you need to be careful about who's in your circle. because that does play. That's a major part, and I'm talking about. And God knows, I have a large family, and for any of them that's watching, I love y'all. However, I got it. You have to take care of yourself.
Let us say, however.
However, you have to take care of yourself.
Right, right,
And that means that you get to decide who's in your circle. And if they're not pouring into you and it's not healthy,
right,
then it's time for you to make some changes, because that's the last thing you need is another unhealthy something
right,
going on in your life. So I think it's that, it's about your attitude. It's
right.
about you being focused. So my thing is, you got to change the people, the places, and the things.
Wow.
People, places, and things. I mean, maybe it's time to change friends. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but every season has a beginning and every season has an
That's
end.
ending. That's right.
So thank God that person was in your life for 15 years, but maybe the next 15, he got somebody else or something else for you.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes we can't receive what he has for us because we're trying to hang on to that last season.
That's good.
So I think we have to learn how to let go emotionally
Yeah,
of our past, of our childhood.
yeah,
So much of that weighs us down, and we end up carrying the weight of the world or our families on our shoulder.
right,
And then you wonder why you're tired. You wonder why you're dragging. You wonder why you're beat down. You wonder why you're depressed, why you're sad, why you're frustrated.
right.
You have to know what weight is yours. And I think that means that one of the things that people have to do, we all have to do, Pastor, is we got to know who we are.
Right, right, right.
If you haven't checked yourself, now is the time to do that. Because if you don't know who you are in a world, in the chaos that we're in
Yeah,
right now, it's
yeah.
going to be tough.
That's another installment of the series that I'm preaching, because I want to stop the series, but I can't just yet. And especially since Black History Month.
Right.
Also, I gotta add this, is that you're also seeing in the public the erasure of African American history.
Definitely.
That's another part of what I would say is this induced trauma on Black people.
Right.
So this mural that was in Philadelphia in Independence Park, they have removed all of the signs or placards that were up that established the history of the Underground Railroad and how it took place in Philadelphia. So that's another factor.
Right.
Because as African Americans, we're experiencing live and in color the erasure of our history, which we take as an erasure of our ancestors.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. But when we become disconnected as a culture, which I think we have,
right,
these are the kind of things that begin to happen.
Right.
And it's kind of like this is a new version of slavery that we're experiencing to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I see Black people becoming more oppressed.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're giving up.
Yeah.
Because the weight has gotten to be too much. And rather than continue to try to feel like they're fighting a battle, well, whoever said the battle was over? Whoever told you that in 2025 that Black people were going to be equal? That was nobody ever told you that. But some people tend to live like we, quote, had made it.
Right. This is difficult for those of us who are consciously aware in our community to watch this other element of the erasure of our culture in the public square, and that in and of itself is traumatic. I'm gonna lean on that a little bit on this Sunday, because I think that severely affects our mental and emotional state as Black people.
I agree.
Right? I think it hurts us.
Yes.
When we see these monuments that have been created, or markers that have been created to remind the country of where Black people came from and what they came through, and to have them physically taken down and physically taken out of museums and parks is a form of trauma on the lives and psyche of Black people.
Right. Yeah. And I think, that's a part of us being able to teach younger generations. They don't teach Black history in school anymore.
Yeah.
So the only courses and education they're going to get is going to have to be from those of us who have experienced some of that.
Right.
Who to be able to show them the monuments, to be able to show them, where Martin Luther King's church was, and they're asking who is Martin Luther King, and so we have an obligation, and because we have been sucked up by everything else that's going on in the world, it's easy for them to take down the statues. It's easy for them to do away with Black history.
Right.
And I think we're easily defeated right now because everybody is so overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed. That's a great word. That's
And so people are struggling. How do I balance all of this? And I think that's another thing, Pastor. Taking care of yourself means how do we balance this?
Right.
How do we get what we need? And how many of us take time to sit down and have a conversation? I mean, where we come together and just able to have a conversation. People don't do a whole lot of that anymore. People get together for the holidays, and sometimes that's the only time of the year they even see their families. And so we have to get back to what was wrong with some of the things that we did back 20 years ago. I mean, all of them may not have been the best things, but you know what? What I learned is I'm working with a father and his daughter. She's 15, he's 45. They communicate a whole different language. You think one speaking Spanish and one speaking English.
That's right.
So how do we even bring that together? How do we reunite there? Because we're losing that generation because they're not communicating with us. I had to prepare exercise for them in my session where I got them communicating through their cell phones because that's how she communicates.
Wow.
He's having to learn how to communicate her way. And then she's agreed to allow him to teach her how he communicates.
Right.
But they don't know.
I believe these things are so needed. I'm going to share one last thing with you, but I want people, if you have questions for Sister Coletta, go ahead and put the questions in the comments. The other day I'm teaching at OU, and I do this illustration trying to, with my students. I have about 35 students in my class, and half and half. It's half Black students, half white, majority Black students, I should say. In the midst of the illustration, I tried to show them in terms of the connection that Black people have with each other, even if they don't know each other, but then the disconnection they have with white people. So I did this illustration. I asked one of my Black students, how do you feel walking into a room full of white people? It's a young man, about 20, 21 years old. He said to me, Pastor Coleman, Dr. Coleman, when I go in a room, I purposely shrink in the room. I intentionally become small because I don't want any attention brought to me. I then turn to my class and ask all of my Black students, is this how you all feel? Is this how you all? And the overwhelming majority in that classroom said, that's exactly how we feel. And when we walk in a room, we're the minority, we shrink, we become small, and we disappear because we don't want to be misinterpreted in a wrong way. This is amazing. I said to them in class, y'all are 20 years old, 21 years old. You all have inherited generational trauma.
You're absolutely right.
Y'all ain't even been here long enough to have enough experiences to shrink in a room. Y'all been here 20 years.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, somebody told you, passed on to you. So for me, I'm in class, Sister Coletta, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's 2026.
Yeah.
I got 20, 21-year-old kids who express, no, Dr. Coleman, when I go in the room, I become small. Intentionally.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be misinterpreted by white people.
Right.
I am in class, I'm losing it.
Right.
These kids have not had enough experiences in their life. So the only explanation as to why you walk around with this trauma-filled behavior is because you've inherited that.
Of course.
That's a whole...
We talk about generational curses.
Yeah.
That still exists.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys have not watched, some of you may or may not have, but there's a show. It's I think two seasons. It's called 61st Street.
I heard about it.
You got to watch it. It's it's, it's
You're the
it's
second person that told me I need to
it's
watch that.
it's amazing, and you gotta watch it. And you gotta watch it again. But it's real, and it's based on a true story with Courtney Vance.
Courtney B. Vance, yeah.
Yes, and Michael B. Jordan was the director or something. So together they really put this together. But it's based on a true story out of Chicago, and it's real, and it's not back in the day. It's now,
Okay.
and it's powerful.
Okay.
But those are the kind of tools that we can use to show our young people this stuff really is real. But how do you overcome this? Because that's kind of what that show is about. So you got to watch it.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Tina Hunter just said it was good. Sister Calvin just said it was amazing. Just watched it. Very powerful. Okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. Y'all already. That's what I need to hear. That's what I need to hear.
Those are kind of things. Then when we got that many people saying they watched it, Gina, we need to have community discussions about those things.
Wow. Okay. All right. You gave me my assignment. I got it. I like a good show now. I let Dr. Sherry don't like the multiple episode type joint. She in the one movie, and that's good. But she catching up. She catching up. But we'll watch it. We'll make sure that we watch it.
It's powerful, and I don't know. Most people may not get the entire message, but I think you will. So you got to watch it.
Okay. Because I'm in class and I'm blown away.
Yes. Well, you need to say that in class, and they will be blown away.
Yeah, I'm like, are y'all serious?
Yes.
Like y'all are 21, and what has been passed on to you is this?
Right.
Yes. It is 2026. Why y'all? If no other group of people that should walk in their identity, it should be these 21, 20-year-olds. But to know that you all have been passed on this level of trauma was blowing my mind. It was
right. But and I was talking to one of my brothers, and he has a son that's 26, and he said he can't get his son to understand that he's a black male and what will happen when the police pull him over. I said, but did you tell him the whole story about why you're saying that to him? And that's what we're not doing. We got to make it make sense to them, because now you just put some fear in your son, and he don't know why.
Right.
Because he went to school with white people. I mean, he went to Catholic school. So, all these people, God-loving people he used to. And now you're telling me I got to be careful.
Yeah.
But it's our responsibility as a community to teach them, to take that fear away from them. Yes, we have to be cautious, but we have to take that away from them. We can't allow them.
That's right.
You got to fight or flight. You're basically setting them up to say, I know I may have to fight for my life if I get
right. That's right.
That's what you just taught him, that's what happens to all black boys. So I just think we all have an obligation. I think in order to get through what we're going through in this world, it does mean that we got to come back together. And maybe that's God's way of saying, what was wrong with what you had? It's time for us to come together.
Yeah. I will put this out there that all of you all that are watching right now, we're going to watch 61st Street, and then we're going to set a time for a community conversation.
That'd be great. That would be powerful. Yes. Yeah. I love that.
You helped me. You helped us tonight.
Yes.
Glad you said that. Sister Galetta, I thank you. I'm not going to keep that. I promise you I was not going to be long. Went longer than I should. I appreciate you more than you know. I want y'all to thank Sister Galetta.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Galetta, for coming on. I can't tell you enough. And just so you all know, Sister Galetta and I are in the midst of compiling information, as well as information to do some group sessions.
Yes.
Over the next couple months, we'll put something together to have an initial one at the church when the weather's a little bit better, to get people to come out. I think that's what you shared with me earlier, and even on tonight is good. I think people would love to sit with you and engage, whether it be grief or anything else.
Yes. Yes, I think that would be great. And I look forward to working with you, Pastor, making a difference in the community.
Yeah.
You and I talked a little bit briefly or earlier today, and I left that phone call with so much energy and so much excitement
Yeah.
that I jotted down the name of what our program is going to be. So I'm going to have to discuss that with you before I put it out there. But it's about creating a safe space
Yes.
for people to heal.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about emotionally
Yeah.
and physically.
Yeah. We
So,
are traumatized people.
yes, yes, yes.
I don't care how you. Some of my colleagues often say that African Americans, African American history or knowledge does not always have to leap from trauma. It can leap from joy. My challenge to them is, but the only way that we really get to the joy is we got to process the trauma.
That's right. And that's what we
bypass trauma to say, oh, we're going to have joy.
Right. And that's what my thing is. If we got to process the all the trauma and be able to leave it behind us.
That's right.
We can't keep carrying that with us. And that's what we do. So you're absolutely right. The word here is process.
Process.
I'm not saying forget it. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
That's right.
I said, but you have to process it. You got to be able to process it and let it go.
Yeah. Coletta, thank you. I love you. We love you.
Thank you.
We love you. We love you. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Your lunch for the rest of the week will be taken care of. You ain't got to worry about that.
Oh.
you are more than gracious to come on and help us. Beloved, we have a jewel in Sister Coletta, and I thank God for her knowledge, for her expertise, for her gift. And every time she comes on, she helps us even more so. And I'm just just grateful to have you on tonight. Know that we love you and thank God for you.
Thank God for you. I appreciate everybody. And my thing is, I want us to build strong communities and strong families, and we do that together. That's one person can do that.
I love it. Coletta, we love you. Thank God for you. You take care of yourself here.
All right. Good night.
All right. Bye-bye. Listen, beloved. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. What an awesome midweek motivation. Listen, would you do something for me? Would you press share? Would you press share, like and share? Other people need this session tonight. If you would, please share. Everyone in your friends list or everyone that you're connected to will get an opportunity to get what you just got. So if you would, like and share. This is invaluable information and inspiration. I cannot say that enough. Wellness Wednesday. That's right, Sister Janet. Wellness Wednesday. We want to make sure you're well. Right? I preached a series years ago called I'm Determined to Be Well, or something of that effect. And I think wellness is important for all of us as we walk this journey. And so can't thank Coletta enough for her time and everything she gave to us. So once again, thank God for her. Listen, a couple of announcements. On Thursday night, we got a couple of things rolling. We got men's choir rehearsal. We got a gathering of brothers that are going to meet Thursday night. So if you know a brother that wants to come out tomorrow night at the church, 7:00, meet us there, right? Saturday is our event for the couples. That is charcuterie and conversation. So we want all our couples to come out on Friday. I believe that's at noon, if I'm not mistaken. That's at noon. So if you know of a couple that can go on our website and register, encourage them to come. We'll have a great conversation and fellowship with other couples. We got a couple of events, and Sister Coletta just inspired me to do something on this movie 61st, this series. And so you can look for that probably in the next week or so. I'll have created something for us. Once again, thank God for each of you all, praying for you all, everything. Come on, let's touch and agree. God, our Father, we thank you for tonight. We pray for Sister Coletta. Bless her in the name of Jesus. Strengthen her right now where she is, God. We ask, oh God, you continue to shine your light upon her life and let her continue to be a witness for you. We thank you that we are rooted, grateful for our church and for our ministry that continues to touch lives. And God will be careful to give you praise and give you glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Peace.